Hello again. Unfortunately, we have to look at that very, very sad, depressing looking face. But we will get into that in a minute as to why he thinks that Islam is the best thing for one of the greatest treasures of accumulated wisdom and spiritual knowledge attainable to humanity, a tradition that was obscured by a drive towards Western materialism. Well, you think of the royal family, if anyone is materialistic, who wears all the jewels all the time? And, the Queen would not wear the same outfit more than once. And nothing was ever donated to charity. It was just put aside. Everywhere they go, they expect gifts. They don't pay for anything themselves. They take whatever they want. So if anybody's like that, then it is the royal family. Instead, his garden home in Gloucestershire, is inspired by Islamic traditions and plans mentioned in the Quran. So we know that Charles had a whole heap of faith with the Islamic people, which is one thing, but I want to have a look, that horrible picture of Charles. We'll do Charles in a second. We'll just go and I want to talk a little bit about the Islamic faith. What they're doing to the churches and the old religious centres in the UK is disgusting. And there's no way that a leader of a religion should allow, or faith, should allow desecration of the grave sites or anything that has to do with that culture in history to be removed, altered, destroyed, damaged, defaced, humiliated, without the people's knowledge or consent, so that a new group of people can have their culture put there in place. It doesn't work like that. That's how you piss people off. That's how revolutions start. The French Revolution, let them eat cake. No, they didn't get any cake. They got rotten fruit in the face. So you have to think about that picture of Charles. That demonic picture of him. He has red hands. Look at them all these red hands. And I'm going to do something in a second. So just bear with me a moment. Okay, so yeah, that picture that Charles is so proud of, you look at that and it is very, very satanic. And that gentleman there, he looks like a Muslim. I think he's probably is a Muslim. He's got that look. I don't know, that sounds quite racist of me, but I think he does look like a Muslim. I think that there is a lot to say, that Charles is a very unpleasant person. His brother, you think about who he's linked to in his family, to Jimmy Savile, one of the world's worst child pedophiles. You think of Rolf Harris, pedophile. You think of all of the movie stars and rock stars, Gary Glitter, pedophile. A lot of those people had links to the royal family, or to Randy, his brother. So, as I say, things don't fall far from the tree, do they? So then Charles has a whole heap of red hands. And these hands that are red, I think are, look at his hands. They're disgusting. And Nick Cave has a really, really good song. Wonder if I can find it quickly. some of these pictures. Oh, it's not going to. Oh, bugger it. Oh, well, might have to throw it in on here. So, yeah, I think that's really, really bad. And then you think about Islam. It is one of the most divisive religions. When the women and men cannot even enter the church or the place of worship at the same place, it shows you that there's something fractured and dysfunctional with it, and that there is class segregation, caste between the people. And so when you see that, why do ladies have a ladies' entrance? It's specifically for women and girls so that they can comfortably take off their shoes and often not have, before wudu or whatever it is, I don't know, it sounds a bit, voodoo if you ask me. Can females enter a mosque? At Quran, no place prohibits women from going to mosque for prayers. However, the Quran talks of establishing a prayer and talks in gender-neutral terms. That doesn't make any sense because they do have two entrances. Can you go in there with your period? According to some, women should not be able to enter the mosque when they have their period. So there you go. You're unhealthy. You're not allowed to. Can you wear pants? Yes, pants are required. Do male and females pray together in Islam? To pray together in one area, the area is seen by the holy mosques in Mecca, where Muslims from all over the world, blah, 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 blah. But where are the entrances? Let's have a look at images. So there we go. We have the women all on one side and the men the other side. So they're facing each other. All the women are behind. The different doors that they have. So the women have the back door and the men have the front door. And I'm not talking about sexual positions here. But maybe that's what it's meaning to be. When women are not allowed to go through the same entryway as a man. See, the men, they have different ones. And I didn't believe that until my sister, where she lives down in Melbourne, there's a lot of Muslims there. And she was like, well, why after they have their prayer, call to prayer, the children and the women have to go down the park, and the men then are able to go and have their quiet time together. And it's just to me it's very, very separative. It doesn't have any inclusion to it at all. And if they think that that's something that's going to be embraced by people in the Western society, then they don't know us very well. And we will say, no, thank you, no, thank you, no, thank you. But anyway, talking about Charles. So yeah, he has red hands. I think that he is a very satanic person. I do think that he and his family have long ties to very corrupt, evil, powerful people, and they all watch and wash each other's hands to protect each other. But to have that is quite astounding, if you ask me. I don't think anybody. That would be nice if his fingers were like that. Would be nice, but anyway, I shouldn't say that. But yeah, no, they're trying to take over and dominate the Western world, and we don't want that. And that picture of Charles tells you an awful lot. There's a lot of sixes in there, an awful lot. So if we have a look, what else have I got about here? Okay, Muslim women challenge America's mosques. Okay. Most American mosques do a poor job of including women. So there you go. This is America. This isn't the Middle East. This is America. Wow. No, why am I going to donate to you? I was walking towards the front door, only to be told by a boy of no more than 12 years old. He pointed to the side of the building and said, "Oh, that's the pisses, that's the sisters' entrance over there." She's religious, she covers her hair, doesn't mind praying separately from men, as in Islam customs. But entering through a different door, and I stopped dead in my tracks and looked for an adult figure that I could have a conversation with. Nobody was about, so I looked at this 12-year-old boy and said, "There's a separate entrance for women? Why is that?" Just to see what he would say, he sort of shrugged his shoulders and said, "It just is." See, they're so indoctrinated, they don't even question things. So when they have women that might have an arm showing or a bit of midriff showing that, is against their rules, but it's in that person's home country where it is standard practice and it's acceptable behaviour, they will take it on their higher perch, their higher label, that they have the right to try to enforce their laws, their religious laws and doctrines upon that woman. And nobody says anything. That's the thing. When you've got a person in America that supposedly got the most votes ever and is the smartest and the most adept person ever, and, he can't walk upstairs, he can't walk downstairs, he can't ride a bike, he can't read a teleprompter, he can't walk out of a doorway without getting confused. He's got mush for brains. He's got mashed potato for brains. And I'm not being disrespectful. I'm being honest. I'm calling a spade a spade. The man it's elder abuse what they're doing to him. If you saw that happening to your mother or to your grandmother, would you be calling out the rest of your family? How dare you do that to Gran, or how dare you do that to Grandpa? You're making him look like a fool, and he defecates himself. He shits himself, literally. I'm just saying, this is insane. And so to have Islam with Prince Charles, that is what they're doing. They're going to turn the Western world into Sharia law, where they have, complete control over everybody. And when you think about it, digital money, when you have digital money, you don't earn interest on it. It'll have an expiry date on it. You can only use it at certain places. You have to have a certain rules to be able to use it, because it's, all electronic. It's not like a key. It's not like physical. It has to have a doorway to open it electronically, and they can lock you out. It can be, so dangerous. And to have all of this, the housing, the food, the religion, the mass migration of people, so all these different cultures are coming together at the one place. And what happens? Let's just do a random thing. What happens when all the animals are set free at the zoo? Let's just see what it says. Released back into the wild, many would die. Others would become fearful, harmful pests and severe blah, blah, blah. Okay, as those ethical. What happened to surplus zoos? This is not what I was asking about. I was just using it. I was just using an example, and I probably is a bit rude to say that, but it's like when you let all the animals out at the zoo. If all of a sudden the power goes out and all the gates open, the lions are going to eat all of the animals that can't protect themselves or defend themselves or run and hide. Food, they're going to do it for power, for dominance. The males are going to fight for power over the women, and dominance over the women. So it's something that happens in animals, and you can't put people that come from different backgrounds, different cultures, different everything into the one area. It doesn't work. You can't plant all the same seeds in a garden because some will become more powerful than others, and some will die out and won't even exist and survive. It's not ethical to do that. Yeah, but anyway, I've gone on a tangent. I didn't mean to go on, so I apologise. But anyway, I will be back. It's getting too long. Bye.